Developing Emotional Intelligence with Angela King, Jolly Doan, Sean Simon, Jong Hoon, and myself, Sarthak Verma.
What's wrong with you? My dog just died last night and I've had him since I was 10. I just miss him so much. Why are you crying? It's just a dog. You're at work. Get over it. Oh my god, this is so embarrassing. In the workplace, we're often taught to suppress and deny the existence of emotions, yet they're inevitable and what makes us human. At times, knowing how to deal with one's emotions is simple. For example, in the case of your coworker's dog passing away, probably not the best idea to patronize and demean them. In the name of being a decent human being, it's important that we all seek to develop our ability to perceive, understand, and manage our own and others' emotions, known as emotional intelligence. The importance of emotional intelligence is also highlighted in scientific research. Correlational studies have shown that those with high emotional intelligence have high job satisfaction, less job burnout, and even greater job performance. So as you can see, there are many benefits to having high emotional intelligence. In today's presentation, we will be exploring the definition of emotional intelligence, evidence of emotional intelligence in the psychological literature, and a case study of emotional intelligence in leadership. Now to Sean and Taz to discuss the concept and model we will be basing emotional intelligence on.
We are focusing on the Mayer-Salovey-Caruso emotional intelligence model, which is one of the three major EI models. In this theory, the definition of emotional intelligence is the ability to perceive emotions, to assimilate emotion-related feelings, to understand emotions, and to manage emotions to promote emotional growth. The model itself identifies EI through a four-branch ability model: perceiving emotions, understanding emotions, managing emotions, and the use of emotion to facilitate thoughts. Another one of the three major models is the Bar-On model. However, it defines EI as an interrelation of social and emotional competencies, and has 5 branches which serve a similar purpose as the 4-branch one in the Mayer-Salovey-Caruso model.
Based on the research, the development of this model included 2 stages. The first one was in 2008. There were 4 branches with 16 steps developmental models of emotional intelligence from childhood to adulthood. The second one was in 2016. A new description of the 4-branch model was released, and they are at the areas of reasoning, with 26 steps developmental models of emotional intelligence. Furthermore, this model also has a variety of benefits, including in education and in workplace. For education, this is the foundation of social and emotional learning programs. It improves academic performance and creates connections between teachers and students, also students and students. For workplace, it increases job satisfaction and helps achieve organizational goals.
But of course, the most important question of developing emotional intelligence is whether emotional intelligence can actually be improved through training and whether an increase in emotional intelligence results in better outcomes overall. We'll be looking at this specifically in workplace environments. In 2011, a study administered an emotional intelligence training program on employees of 5 branches of a large public sector bank, lasting for 8 sessions over 2 months. The study included a control group, meaning employees from another 5 branches were recruited in the study but were not administered the training program. Using a measure of emotional competence inventory, employees were rated before and after training on their self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. After training, relationship management, one of the 4 dimensions, was found to be enhanced. In addition, service quality, including reliability, responsiveness, assurance, and empathy, were all improved in employees that participated in the emotional intelligence training compared to the control group. A study conducted in 2014 by Dugan et al. Used an emotional intelligence training program for physicians in a medical center. The intervention was longitudinal and lasted for a period of over a few years. The interventions involved repeated emotional intelligence assessment over 4 years using EQI scoring, 7 years of highly interactive training in real-life, high-risk and stress situations, and ongoing and modeling and mentoring of emotional intelligence within the medical faculty. They found that EQI scores increased over the 8 years, and through the completion of patient satisfaction surveys, found that patient satisfaction scores increased from 85 to before training to 92 to 99% after training. The study is limited, however, in that no control group was utilized and there was a small cohort number of only 22 physicians. Emotional intelligence is especially crucial for those in leadership roles since they are responsible for managing an entire network of employees. Accordingly, Chernis et al. Implemented a leadership development program based on International Organization for Standardization principles. 162 managers from 9 different companies were involved in the process, with 89 assigned to a control group. Emotional competence inventory was used to measure social and emotional competencies associated with effective leadership. They found that after 2 years, all emotional competence inventory components had been improved, which involved self-awareness, self-management, social awareness, and relationship management. Since all these experiments relied on rater measures, whether that be themselves or their peers or managers, the internal validity is slightly compromised. Additionally, the presence of some experimental flaws, such as the absence of a control group or small number of participants, also limits the validity of the study's claims. Despite this, the evidence still demonstrates a solid foundation for the argument that emotional intelligence training can improve emotional intelligence and also result in advantageous outcomes for everyone involved, whether that be as a patient or customer or an employee to managers and leaders.
Approximately 70% of Forbes' top 500 companies recognize the importance of emotional intelligence and have EQ training programs. A famous example will be Google's Search Inside Yourself EQ training program, created in 2007 by Chade Meng Tan to train employees to be mindful about themselves and others. Unfortunately, our group members' workplaces did not have any employee development programs, so we researched the value of emotional intelligence in PepsiCo through news articles, blogs, interviews with former CEO Indra Nooyi, and PepsiCo's websites. I asked, how does PepsiCo treat emotional intelligence in their workplace, and is EQ an important attribute to their success? A pilot study was conducted by PepsiCo on the impact of an executive's emotional intelligence levels on key performance indicators, and they found that executives with high EQ were 10% more productive, had 87% decrease in turnover, added $3.75 million more value, and increased return on investment by over 1,000%. CEO Indra Nooyi is an excellent example of the importance of EQ in leadership at PepsiCo. Nooyi's ability to recognize and regulate her own emotions are demonstrated by her drive to achieve and self-management. In an interview on a Go Lead podcast, she says that there was a lot of anxiety when I took over. I realized that I could have all the anxieties inside, but to the company I had to project confidence, optimism, a can-do spirit, and a must-do resolve. She recognized her anxieties and was able to keep them under control and succeed. In her interview on the David Rubenstein show, Nooyi talks about writing letters to employees occasionally because she wanted them to know her as a person and not an executive, demonstrating her ability to understand her own emotions and convey them to others. She also demonstrates her ability to utilize her empathy to lead. In an interview with Grant Freeland from Boston Consulting Group, she says, "The only way you can hold on to these employees is by hooking them emotionally to the company." Nooyi led PepsiCo towards a culture of recognition, inclusion, and diversity. PepsiCo has a talent management system called LEAD, which stands for Leadership Assessment and Development. They pick employees with leadership potential by looking at 3 dimensions: foundational, growth, and career. EQ mainly falls under the foundational dimension. The program encourages feedback, coaching, mentoring, and development programs, and receives high engagement and support from employees. They offer leadership training programs that include developing aspects of emotional intelligence. For example, the Senior Leader Development Program's learning modules include learning how to be more self-aware, network, motivate and inspire others, and build future leaders. Every year, PepsiCo awards employees across the globe to recognize their efforts and encourage them to achieve, which has helped them to retain their talented employees.
Overall, emotional intelligence is an integral part of all aspects of life, whether it be in the workplace, social situations, or personal situations. Both the MSCEI and Barron Emotional Intelligence Model provide interchangeable understandings of emotional intelligence. From empirical evidence in workplace environments, it can be inferred that EI training led to better outcomes. The case study of Indra Nooyi further emphasizes the importance of emotional intelligence in the workplace and the benefits it can lead to.